Okay. Hello, everybody.
Lila Tovarov, how are you?
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Lila Tov is more like go to sleep. Erev Tov is good evening.
It's 11:30 p.m., Rabbi.
Well, if it was Lila Tov, I wouldn't be about to host a meeting here.
Okay.
So, okay. Let's wait a minute. No, actually, no, we can start now. Okay, so I think this year we're going to start on time no matter what. That'll be our lesson that we start on time. So, okay, so here's the story. This is our first meeting of the year. All very exciting, very good. My goal, as I wrote, is that these meetings should have 15 people in it. That's what I'd like. I'd like to get to the point where we have 15 regular people showing up. So if you know somebody who would like to attend the meeting, so please spread the word. Okay, let's see if we can get to 15. That would be a good goal. The reason why this year is tougher than most years is because nobody is recruiting in America for these meetings. I am not traveling to America anytime soon, if ever, and I don't think that I don't know of anybody who's really focused on it other than Shlomi inside Florida or anywhere else to try to get people. So, and I can't meet new people because I'm here. So that's the essential problem. So we're trying to get to 15 in these meetings, as in previous years. We are going to discuss three things, but this year I think I'm going to be a little more focused. The three things we're going to discuss are principles of Israel political advocacy. That's number one. Lessons that apply all the time, every year, at all points. Number two are current events, things that are happening right now. And number three are I want to do monthly goals that we accomplish. And we're going to discuss the first one today because we're 14 days behind on September. Okay, so that's what I'd like. Those are the ideas. I have a goal a month from now until May. I'd like to accomplish. If we can get them done, then great. I think if we get, let's say, 8 of 12 done, that would be a successful year. So that's my goal for the year this year. Okay, so let's start off by asking if you have any questions. Meaning anything in the news that's happening now, anything that is going on. So now would be the time to ask. Anyone? No one has any questions. Okay, so I forgot to watch the waiting room, so people were coming in. Let me just repeat what I said in the beginning because I wasn't paying attention to the waiting room, so people were waiting in the waiting room. So 3 goals. Okay, 3 goals this year. Not for these meetings. Number 1 is we're going to discuss principles of Israel advocacy. Number 2, we're going to discuss current events, what's going on, give a little background so we understand what's happening. And number 3, we're going to have monthly goals that we're going to try to accomplish. Our overall goal is to try to get 15 people in these meetings every week. Okay, so if you have a friend that you want to try to get into this meeting, that would be amazing if you could spread the word and let them know about it. Okay, that is the goal. Okay, so let's discuss. So first, let me ask now that more people are here. Does anybody have any questions about anything going on, anything that they've seen, anything from the most deepest question to the most basic of questions? Rebecca, is that your hand up? Go ahead. Wait, I can't hear you. I don't know if that's me or you.
Do you hear me now?
I do.
Why did they decide to go back on lockdown?
Why did Israel go on lockdown? This is something Rafi and I have been discussing on Twitter, which is why he's smiling. So Israel is now leading the world in new coronavirus cases, and which is a horrible thing. And unfortunately, not only leading the world, we're also starting to see something that we never saw before, which are a high amount of deaths, fatalities due to coronavirus, which is incredibly sad. Israel is now averaging 4,000 new cases a day, which is absolutely insane for a country this small. We're about a third of the size of Florida, keep in mind. Okay, so 4,000 cases a day is absolutely crazy. It should be nowhere near there. So in order to stop the spread, what Israel has decided to do is to go on lockdown, which means keep people in their homes as much as possible, and that way the spread of the virus will hopefully stop. Whether or not that's going to work depends on how much people listen. The whole reason why we were in this mess in the first place is because Israelis have a hard time understanding that wearing a mask doesn't refer to your chin. It refers to the portion of your face with holes in it, meaning your mouth and nose. Even to the point where one of the ministers who resigned over his objections to the lockdown took a picture of himself signing his resignation letter, and the picture has him with his mask around his chin. And you just sit there and you're like, okay, this is it. Everybody can see. Here's the problem. Here's the guy who's saying that he objects to trying to figure out a solution, and he's not wearing his mask. So get the guy a mirror, explain to him how a mask works, and we can start working on the problem. I'm sorry for like the snark at the end, but it really ticks me off. I've seen Israelis do things which are just incredibly infuriating. Not wearing a mask is the least of them. I have a friend who, I don't know if I'll ever be friends with this person again, who knew they had coronavirus and sent their children to school anyway and infected other people and sent everybody into quarantine. Okay, knowingly doing this. Okay, so because it's a big deal. Okay, so all right, okay, good, great job. So in any case, so that's the story. That's why we're going into lockdown for 2 to 3 weeks, starting on Friday on Arab Rosh Hashanah. Good. Okay. Any other questions on anything that you've seen in the news? Any stories that you've seen in the news? Something happening? Yes.
The peace treaty.
I saw on the news there's like a thing with a bunch of like Orthodox people going to Uman. I don't know why.
Okay. Yes. We have a bunch of, I'm sorry, I have to say this. I think they're absolutely stupid, ridiculous idiots. I think that on most years, because I'm not a big wrestling chassid, so it's not that to be honest, my opinion wouldn't change on most years. But on top of that, Corona, where what you're doing is you're having thousands of people gather in a small area where the Ukrainian authorities, to their credit, put up like barriers to try to keep people separate, and people then rip down the barriers. It's insanity, absolutely insanity. I have no problem with people going to Uman. They should all go to Uman, but they just should not be allowed back. That's my condition. Let them. That's fine. You can, if it's that important to you, go. But yeah, so a lot of people want to go to Uman. The Israeli government called the Ukrainians and asked them to shut down their borders and not let Israelis in. That was so that way it wouldn't be Israel's fault. Shockingly, that backfires. Nobody bought it because the Ukrainians love it when the Israelis come. So because they spend money. So that's the story. Okay. Anything more doing with like U.S.-Israel relations and things of that nature? Eitan.
Idan. That's the.
Don, sorry, I don't know why that was automatic.
It's all good. The peace treaties.
The peace treaties. Yes. Okay, good. So for those that don't know, it's very hard. I understand this. I was in high school for the Oslo Accords, okay? And I did not fathom when it's happening, it's very hard. I'm not just talking about like a high school kids, I'm talking about anybody, but it's very hard to fathom historic moments when you're in the moment, right? That's very, very difficult. We have a difficult time understanding when we're in a historical moment, okay, right? Everybody understand? That's very difficult, right? To be in a historic moment and recognize that you're in a historic moment, that's very hard, right? How are you going to know that you're in a historic moment? Okay, so we are right now, as we are all talking here, in a historic, momentous occasion. What am I talking about? Arab states Okay, since 1948, since the Jewish state of Israel was founded, Arab states have not wanted to have anything to do with the Jewish state. Okay, the three no's have always existed: no to recognizing Israel exists, no to negotiations with Israel, and no, okay, no to peace with Israel. Okay, those have been the three no's that have now. They were only broken by Egypt in 1979. Okay, Egypt made peace with Israel, and Jordan in 1994. And the reason for those were complicated, but it wasn't a warm peace. In other words, if I would walk around the streets of Egypt, I'd be murdered. Okay, if I walked around with a kippah on my head, I would not survive. If I walked around Jordan, good question as to what would happen to me. Okay, that is not, it's not for sure that I would be safe. Okay, the people of Jordan, the people of Egypt do not like Israelis. Okay, what's happened over the last couple of years is that Iran has become such a threat. Iran has become such a threat to not only to Jews and to Israel, but Iran also, there are two types of Muslims. Okay, I know it starts getting complicated when we throw in details. There are two types of Muslims. There are Shiite Muslims and Sunni Muslims. Okay, Shiite Muslims and Sunni Muslims actually hate each other more than the worst Muslims, like the fundamentalist terrorists, hate Jews. Okay, so as crazy as that sounds, right, that they would hate each other more, okay, they do. Okay, and when they hate each other, we're not talking about like they start saying mean things about each other online. They blow each other's mosques up. And when you give them countries, they blow each other's countries up. So Iran, which is Shiite, wants to blow up all the Sunni countries and take them over. Okay, this is a bad thing. Okay, so this is, I mean, like it would be bad for the world if Iran took over more and more things. The Sunni countries want to stop Iran because they see Iran as a threat to their entire region. Okay, everybody following? We're good on this? Okay. So Israel is a big threat to Iran. So the enemy of your enemy is your friend. So all of a sudden, these Sunni countries look around, they're like, okay, who's going to protect us? Well, America will. But then President Obama made the Iran deal, which these Arab countries looked at and said, no, 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 no. That's not a good deal. That's not going to help. That's going to be very, very, very bad. So they said, okay, America's not going to help us now. Who can help us? And they turned to Israel. Okay? And lo and behold, Sunni Arab countries secretly had dealings with Israel. Secret meaning that they weren't saying it out loud, but everybody knew. Okay? Everybody knew that this was going on. Okay? Everybody knew. Okay? But then when the Trump administration came about, so the Trump administration said, look, let's go ahead and make this official. Everybody's going to love this. This is going to make money for everybody. Everyone's lives are going to get better. We'll be able to stop Iran. It'll make a huge statement. Everything's going to be great. And President Trump, with a lot of work by Jared Kushner and a guy named Avi Berkowitz, started pushing these countries to formally recognize Israel. Okay? And guess what? For those that went on our policy conference trip last year, Avi Berkowitz was that guy that looked like he was in high school, and he talked to us on Friday night. Okay? He still looks like he's in high school. Okay, so he's really put this together. It's unreal. He's changed the course of the world. Okay, and these countries came about and recognized Israel. And tomorrow on the White House lawn, they are going to sign agreements with Israel publicly. Okay, now this is unreal. You do not understand. 72 years. If you would ask somebody last year, if you would come to me last year and say, and Avi Berkowitz would say to me, you'll never guess what I'm working on, I would say, yeah, good luck, buddy. Okay, and if somebody would told me, what do you think the chance of this happening? I would have put it at less than zero. Less, not at zero, less than zero, because nothing like this has ever happened. Okay, that's how incredible it is. Okay, let's stop for questions here. Rebecca.
Said that like their hate for each other is more than for like Israel, but I thought like when Israel was created, it was that even though they hated each other, they band together to fight against Israel.
Not Shiites and Sunnis, right? So when they fought, it was mostly, ironically enough, only Sunnis that fought against Israel's creation.
Okay, and then also like even though there's like a peace deal, like I'm sure like the same people in the country still hate Israel the same, don't they?
No, oh, so this is the amazing thing. And if you want to read about this, Rafi's father actually went to the UAE last week and wrote an amazing op-ed about the difference between a cold peace and a warm peace, and how his meetings there, he went for business, his meetings showed him that this is a warm peace. And the foreign minister of the UAE today wrote an op-ed in the Haaretz newspaper, the Jewish one in Israel, writing, incredibly, writing that that we want a warm peace with Israel, meaning we want to have stuff to do. And there's been meetings online and Zoom meetings, and there's going to be direct flights between the two countries, and everybody's really excited about this. I'm telling you now, if there wasn't Corona, there would be half of Israel would be in Dubai right now shopping. Okay, it would be unbelievable. No Israelis ever going to go back to Europe. None. There's not going to be. There's going to start canceling flights to Europe. Every Israeli is going to want to go to Dubai. No one's going to want to go see Europe. They're just going to be like, forget Europe. This is our first chance to go to the Arab world. And so right now it's United Arab Emirates. Dubai is their main city, and Bahrain is also the other country. But you're looking at a possibility of a place called Oman, not Uman where the Breastfeeders go. Oman. Okay, that's place number one where you could have a peace deal coming up. Sudan could be another place, okay, where that's possible, where the Sudan could be the next country making peace. And then the ultimate prize, which might happen, which would be insane, could be Saudi Arabia. If Saudi Arabia publicly recognizes Israel and we could fly to Riyadh, okay, it would be unbelievable. Now, Saudi Arabia has already allowed flights to cross over Saudi Arabia, which you might say, like, okay, who cares? That, for anybody traveling east from Israel, like to Asia, okay, that saves hours and hundreds of dollars on ticket prices. So if you're going to India, you're going to Japan, you're going to China, which many, many Israelis do, this saves them a tremendous amount. So it's all really, really incredible developments. We can't hear you.
Would you be scared to go to the UAE or?
No, not at all. I'm excited to go. I can't wait. As soon as Corona's over, we're going. I'll tell you a dream I have. This is a dream that I have, okay? It's a dream, and so I don't want anybody to get too excited. This year, there will not be a policy conference. APAC canceled their policy conference 2 months ago. Our group's main trip is to APAC's policy conference. This year, in place of policy conference, my dream, if Corona works out, okay, meaning if it works out, okay, so my dream is instead to take teens to Israel, the ones from America, take them to Israel, okay, on a week trip to look at the U.S.-Israel relationship from Israel's point of view. And then, if it could work out, as crazy as this might sound, 2 days in Dubai, and then go back to America, okay? So that's my dream. That's my dream. Whether or not that will actually happen, I don't know. But that is very much that's very much a dream of mine of what I would like to see happen. So we will see. Who knows? But that's a dream, and it's perfectly. I feel perfectly safe. Hodaya.
Hey, Rabbi.
Hello.
I had a question. If
Yeah.
the UAE didn't want Israel to extend sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, why did they agree to pause it for now? Why didn't they say, like, we don't want you to extend sovereignty at all?
Okay, so what Hodaya is saying now, what did we give up for peace with them? Okay, so it seems like we gave up nothing. But if you remember, we were talking about at the end of last year that Israel might extend, this is something we'll spend some time on later in the year, extend sovereignty to Judea and Samaria, to sections of Israel, which would be a big move. And in agreement for these deals, the sovereignty was suspended, meaning that Israel's not going to do that as long as it's negotiating with countries. There are rumors that there was a lot more given. Okay, there's rumors that I'm trying to figure out whether they're true or not. Israel's denying them, but people are saying that they're true. That they're not. That Israel even agreed to not allow growth at all, any building in the settlements. I don't know if that's true. That's a media report that came out today from an Israeli politician. but there hasn't been any approved growth since February. So it's not like the rumors are coming out from nowhere, okay? Israel has not approved any new permits for building since February. So that could be. So I don't know what's really happening. I'm trying to figure it out myself. No one knows what's true or not. I probably spent half my day today trying to ascertain what's true or not. What gets me a little nervous is the people that generally get back to me and tell me you have nothing to worry about are ignoring my texts. And I'm not talking about they're ignoring my text. I'm like, hey Joe, how you doing? And then it's like, hey Yuri, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, I'm just curious about this news report. Could you tell me that I'm crazy for even reading it? And then nothing back. So that's getting me very nervous. Okay. But one of Israel's best reporters, I'm not going to say her name, one of Israel's best reporters today, we were working on it together and trying to play out, game score, all the different options, and she was asking people, and we will see. We will see what happens. Okay. Okay, so that is the story. Any other questions? Yes, Jordan.
So you were saying about how like the Sunnis and the Shias don't like each other. So do you think that Israel might be hurting its relationship with Shiite countries by like making friends with the Sunni ones, so like Azerbaijan?
Right. So Azerbaijan is a unique case. I'm very impressed that you know that Azerbaijan is Shiite. I'm very impressed that you know the difference between Sunni and Shiites to start off with, and then to know Azerbaijan is a Shiite country. Azerbaijan is a Shiite country, but also hates Iran. So I'm not so worried. So that's really the only Shiite country that we'd actually have to be worried about. But our relations with Iran couldn't get any worse. That would be impossible, because they're currently saying that we should be wiped off the face of the earth. So I'm not really sure where we go from there to get worse. You know, clearly we're enemies with most Shiite countries. Our relationships with Hezbollah, which is also Shiite, obviously is in the, you know, they're a terrorist organization solely centered on destroying Israel. So I'm not so sure if we're rooting our relationship with them so much. And Qatar, which is also Shiite, which is fascinating, has the Secretary Pompeo is with the people from Qatar today, Qatari leaders today. So I'm thinking, you never know, something might happen there, right? Qatar right now being the country that supports Hamas. So who knows? We shall see. Who knows? Who knows? So we are living in crazy times, and right now, I have to tell you, nothing is out of the realm of possibility, including, which is crazy, is that you will never hear President Trump say, I can see a deal being worked out with the Palestinians anymore. The first year of his presidency, he's like, oh, it's the deal, the century biggest deal. I'm the only guy that can do it. I'm going to do it. By the second year of his presidency, he stopped talking about it. He's like, this is not going to happen. These people are, you know, they're bad. They're not good people. It's not going to work. Okay. But what he does talk about is a deal between Iran and Israel. He talks about that all the time. So I don't know if that's just him shooting off his mouth, or he knows something, you know, that he sees a possibility that they could get something done, and I don't know how that would happen. But again, if a year ago you would tell me, what do you think? UAE, Bahrain, Iran, which of the three are going to make a deal with Israel first? I would say none of them. None of them is going to be first. So, and I would be wrong on two of the accounts. Okay. Any other question? Okay, so here's the story. I want to move on to something else here. I want to move on to our monthly goals. Okay, what I'd like to accomplish, and you can see our group is not as large as it was in previous years. So when I talk about monthly goals, I'm going to need you guys to be doing these things. Okay, this is not monthly goals for me to accomplish. These are monthly goals for you to accomplish. Okay, and the goals here are centered around two things: influencing people's thoughts, okay, and lobbying. Okay, those are our two things. Now, there are a lot of lobbying opportunities between now and November 3rd. November 3rd is election day, okay? Once November 3rd comes around, there's going to be a lot less lobbying opportunities, because the lobbying opportunities now are fundraising events that people are fundraising for their campaigns, okay? Especially people that are like in real tight races and they need money, and they're coming to the pro-Israel community and saying, listen, I've been pro-Israel. I'm going to continue being pro-Israel. I need your support in order to make sure that I win the election, okay? Now, what's great for you guys is these meetings used to take place in people's homes, and you used to have to go to their houses and in people's houses, and it would take you like a 1 hour long meeting would take you 3-4 hours when it came down to traveling and everything else. Now these meetings are done by Zoom, so they're much easier. Okay, so I have a couple of meetings this month. I'm going to put them in the WhatsApp tomorrow, and hopefully you'll sign up for these meetings. Okay, I only have 1 or 2 slots per meeting, but that's the big work. Okay, being in those meetings, Rafi and Hodaya went to a meeting, and Shlomi, went to a meeting last week, and I got a letter from the host, who usually writes me oh, it was a great meeting, thanks for having your teams there, saying he could not believe how good the students were. You guys got amazing comments about how good your questions were. So just merely being at the meeting is important, but if you could then also go ahead and ask questions at the meeting and really impress the senators, so that's really good. So I have a couple of slots left. So that would be that I'll let you know about. Okay, but here I'm going to show you. I'm going to share my screen here and show you what my vision is for this year. Okay, 1 second here. I just want to make so I can see you guys also. Okay, you guys I assume can see my screen now. Okay. So here we go. Very simple. Here's the idea. Here's the month that I want to happen. Here's the idea about it. Okay. So this month I'd like to do video teaching. What does that mean? Okay. It means I'd like to produce about a 1 to 2 minute video where you guys know how this works. We did this once last year. Okay. Where we have a script. Everybody reads the script off in selfie mode. Like you put your phone horizontal, not vertical. Okay, you put your phone and you have it face you. Okay, because so that way you can see yourself as you do, and you simply read the script, but you practice the script a lot of times so it doesn't look like you're saying we produce 3 videos each week on 3 issues and try to spread them. Right, you try to make it a little better where it's a little more right. We produce 3 videos each week on 3 issues and try to spread them. Right, so that way it sounds better, and then we splice it and take 1 line from each of you, and then it looks like, yeah, everybody's seen these videos? You know how they look? Yes? Okay. So I think it would be really cool if in the next day or 2, we could produce a video. These things take no time. I have a daughter who's a senior in high school this year. She knows how to do these videos in like an hour. She can put them together in no time. If any of you are that talented, then you could do it instead. Okay, but I have no problem asking her to do it. But I would like to put a video out in the next day or 2 saying that as an American teenager, I am excited about the peace deal for the following reasons. Okay, and that's right. And then we put that on our Instagram pages. We put that on our.
I could probably do it, like the video.
What?
I know how to do like those videos, like on iMovie. I could do it.
You know, you're good at it. Yeah, I don't mean
think.
like you don't have to be commercial things. I'm saying like you could do it well.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's not so hard. I'm saying, but like,
Yeah.
you know, right. I'm saying don't volunteer if like you've done 1 or 2, and it's going to take you 5 hours to figure out how to do it well.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. So I'm trying to make it easy on you, not like verify that you know what you're doing. Okay. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like 1 person here to write a 1-paragraph script, not hard, about why they're excited about the peace deal. Okay. That's what I'd like. So do I have any volunteers? It's 1 paragraph just to write, I'm an American teenager, and I'm excited about the UAE and Bahrain-Israel Abrahamic Accords peace deal. Can I have 1 person volunteer to write that 1 paragraph? I'll check it out, so don't worry. I'll make sure it's okay. Anybody want to volunteer to write that 1 paragraph? Now would be the time where you raise your, yes, Carol. All right. Okay. Carol, you are going to write the 1 paragraph. I would love if you could do it tonight. Okay. Send it to me to check. Just send it to me on WhatsApp. I'm only going to correct 1 or 2 words. Maybe I won't correct anything. Okay. And that's it. Then what we're going to do is everybody here, from Ellie to Sivan to Talia to everybody on this call, okay? You're going to take that text. When I say, here's the text, now make a video, you're going to simply take your phone, hold it like this, make a video of yourself, okay? And simply saying the text. You gotta make sure there's no background noise. You gotta make sure that like you don't have your unmade bed behind you, okay, and you're not moving the phone around, right? Okay, so you gotta like think about this, like like beforehand. If like I don't know, if your like shirt is stained, put on a better shirt, okay? Don't have the camera like up here, okay? Have it straight in front of you, okay? And just saying the script, that's it. Say it, read it once or twice out loud to yourself so you have it beforehand, and then say it, and then send it to me, and then I will send it to Rebecca, and Rebecca's going to make the video. If we do this well, which there should be no reason why not, if Carol gets me the text tonight, which means I'll have it early tomorrow morning my time, I'll work on it, I'll turn around and send it to you guys by, let's say, hopefully by 12 p.m. tomorrow, your time, meaning Florida time, 7 p.m. my time, okay? I'll have all your videos, send it to Rebecca. By tomorrow night, Rebecca can produce it, and then we can start spreading it. Okay, is
I'm gonna
everybody got it?
put my number in the chat so that you don't have to like send it to me because that might be annoying for you.
Oh, you put, okay, Eric can just put it in the chat. That's cool. Much better idea. Okay, good. Everybody got it? Okay, do I have everyone here's commitment on it? Yes? Okay, great. Okay, let's go quickly through the rest of the year here. Election issue publication, okay? I would love, okay, now this is gonna be like homework, which we've never done before in this group. In like 10 years, I've never assigned homework, but this is cool. Let me just find it. Hold on a second. You guys can get a look into my Google Drive here. Okay.
Rabbi, I did homework for you this quarantine.
What?
I did homework for you this quarantine. What are you talking about?
You had homework for me this quarantine?
Yeah, you asked me to do the resolution that Deutsch signed about the anti-Semitism.
Oh, okay, fine. So, okay, but generally not. Okay. So ignoring the students' names here are 18 or 17 different issues, like between in the U.S.-Israel relationship. Okay. So here we have 17 or 18 different issues. Was the Iran nuclear deal a good deal? Should America have pulled out of the Iran deal? Should America re-enter the Iran deal? How should America deal with Iran's deal? Okay. These are all issues. These happen to be issues that President Trump and Vice President Biden disagree on, okay? In October, I'm going to give us 2 weeks, okay? Each of you is going to sign up for one of these issues and write one paragraph explaining the difference between the two candidates on this issue. This will require about 4.5 minutes on Google, okay? And if you need help, then I'm happy to help you, but this will not take that long. Okay, and then what I'd love to do is produce, not picking one side over the other. That's not the goal here, okay? Not choosing one side or the other, but explaining, okay? Explaining the differences between their opinions, and then people themselves can choose who they think is a better position, okay? Our goal is not at the end to say, and therefore, this candidate is better than that candidate. Everybody got it? Okay, but just in a very nonpartisan way, explaining the different issues, okay? Then in November, we want to get 3 elected officials to join our meetings, okay? In November, these meetings, so half of this meeting will be taken up by having a member of Congress or the Senate join us, okay? Maybe we'll even get an Israeli elected official to join us.
A newly elected official like from the November election, or like someone who's in office now?
Well,
and we want someone who like we can try to like influence their opinion on Israel early on, or we want someone like who's already been in Congress and already has influence.
Either one. A vote's a vote. Okay. So okay, then I would like in December. Anybody here? I know Ben was. Anybody else on the Hanukkah lobbying trip to Washington with us last year? The 2-day lobbying trip. Okay. I'm hoping. Last year we did a 2-day lobbying trip, okay? And we went to the APAC offices and we had like a good time. It was a great 2-day trip. I'm hoping that we could do that again, you know, seeing how Corona is, okay? But like in America, nobody seems to care so much. Everybody flies everywhere. So I guess it really depends on how much I want to fly. Okay, so that's the question. But I'm hoping that we get to do that. Okay, in January, yeah, you guys can see the different ideas. I don't have to read them all out loud. By now you've read this whole thing because that's what you're staring at. Okay, so so that's what I'd like to do. These are the different goals. Again, I'd like to get all of these done, okay, this year. But if we get Okay, if we get 8 of 12 of them done, that'll be successful. And again, here's the highlight that I'd like to do. I'm currently fundraising like mad for this trip. Madly fundraising to get this trip done. Okay, like crazy fundraising to make sure this trip happens. Again, it'll greatly depend on how, not just if we raise enough funds for it, but if we get enough people to go and whether or not Israel has somewhat come out of Corona. Right now, I would never bring anyone to Israel, as crazy as that sounds. Well, first of all, because you wouldn't be able to go anywhere, but because we're about to be locked down, but also because it's really dangerous here, okay, with Corona. Okay, I'm also, just so you know, just so everybody knows, I'm a little, yeah, Ben, yeah, you got it right. So, Ben, right, so just so everybody knows, I'm a little crazy when it comes to Corona. I haven't left my house since APAC. Essentially, I've been only out, I mean, I've left like 10, 12 times, but not that much. And when I go out, like tonight I went out to a restaurant to eat because right before the lockdown, I wanted to get my last supper in, but I made sure the entire restaurant was empty. Okay, so nobody else was there. And then when people came, I left. So that's how nuts I am. Okay, that's about it. Does anybody have any last questions before we end here? No. Okay. Well, then we're going to stop the meeting right here. It's a short meeting, but a good one, because I don't believe that we should just sit here and keep talking for no reason. Things to look out for tomorrow, by the way, in the meeting. Okay, in the big thing on the White House lawn. Okay, I'll tell you something cool because everybody likes the cool stuff. Okay, here's the cool inside stuff. There is a huge fight right now. Huge, massive fight. This is not important. This is unimportant stuff, but really entertaining. Huge fight going on right now between the Israeli security services, okay, meaning the guys that like protect the prime minister and protect everybody else, and the Secret Service and the White House advanced officials. What's the fight over? President Trump does not believe in masks. He doesn't think that people should be wearing masks or taking precautions like social distancing. The White House has invited a small crowd of 1,000 people to witness tomorrow's event. If the Israelis at the event mix in with the Americans, then when they get back to the country, they have to go into quarantine for 2 weeks. If the Israelis that are on this trip that flew in with the prime minister on his plane, so that means his staff, reporters, that's about it. If they can all stay in a bubble and not, in Israel you call it capsulot, which are like capsules. Ben, show us your capsule. Ben just showed a second ago. This is what a capsule looks like in Israel, okay? He has if you saw that, there was like a plastic sheet there, okay? So nobody's allowed to come into Ben's capsule except for the few people that are with him, okay? So that's in Bar-Ilan University's dorms right there is what you're looking at, okay? So that's what a capsula is, okay? You're only allowed a few people can come with you. That way, if one person gets corona, it only spreads to a few people, not to everybody, okay? So the Israelis, the idea that they had was everybody stays in a capsula in this like small unit, and that way, when they get back to Israel, they were all safe because they were all together, and then they don't have to go into quarantine when they get back. If one person messes it up, so then that's the problem. So everybody that came over from Israel is actually, they're obligated to stay in their hotel rooms right now. They're not allowed to leave their hotel rooms, okay? But one Israeli reporter today looked outside their window and looked down on the street and saw Bibi's advisor going out for a jog. So they went ballistic because they're stuck in the jails of their hotel rooms, and this guy's breaking the capsula. So then the reporters were given permission that they could walk outside, not far. They could do reports from outside the hotel. It's not allowed outside the hotel. They've demanded, the Israeli security services have demanded of the White House that they put the Israelis in their own section away from the 1,000 people. The White House, where they're all going to be wearing masks and essentially going against what President Trump loves for every single photo op, okay, which is a bunch of people standing close together without masks on, okay? So the White House is not so into this. The Israelis are also not so into what President Trump wants. So this is a massive fight. How they never thought about this beforehand, I don't know, but they didn't, and this is a big fight. So something to look forward to tomorrow is to see who's wearing masks and who is not. Okay, that's number one. Okay, there are 1,000 people coming to this thing. I know about 200 of them who will be there tomorrow, and they're all very excited, and none of them brought any masks with them. That's number one. That's a joke. The invitation does say to bring a mask for when you're sitting in the security lines. That it does say. Okay. Then number two is to, and more serious, is to look out to see if at this at the signing tomorrow, if the ambassadors of Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Oman, and the Sudan are at the ceremony. Now, if they're not at the ceremony, I don't think it means too much. If they are at the ceremony, that's essentially their country is giving a big thumbs up with a sign that says we're next. Okay, so that's something to look at tomorrow. What people say in the speeches, they're going to be pro forma. They're not so exciting, but that's something to look at. Okay, okay. Everybody good? Okay, so remember, Carol tonight is going to come up with the one paragraph thing to read. We're going to send that out. Everybody by 12 tomorrow, 12 noon tomorrow. Please, please, please have said that, okay? So, and then sent it to Rebecca. And Rebecca put her phone number in the chat right here, okay? So you could have it. So you could either send your video directly to Rebecca, or if you don't remember her number when I push, you haven't saved it or whatever, so that you could just send it to the big WhatsApp group, okay? Everybody good? Okay. Guys, we're living in historic times. Enjoy it. This is an amazing day tomorrow, and enjoy it. Enjoy living in history. Okay, see you guys.
Thank you.
Rabbi.
Thank
yes.
you.
Rabbi.
Yes.
You hear about Eitan?
What?
You hear about Eitan?
I did not hear about Eitan.
He drafted this morning.
Oh, so that's so a couple people drafted this morning. I know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Okay, it's great. Congratulations. Excellent, excellent. Okay, where did he draft into?
Right now he has like the 3 months of like the Upan. And then he finds out what unit he is.
So I wonder if he's with Elon Rafi.
Ask
And
him.
right, I wonder. That'd be interesting. Okay, great. Okay, great news. Great
All right.
news. Okay.
See you, Rabbi. Good night.
Good night. Jordan, you have something?
Oh, no, sorry. Whoops. Bye.
No, it's okay. So maybe you wanted to ask something. Yeah, what's going on?